dumped in the garbage, flushed down the toilet, disposed in a public latrine, deserted by the roadside, abandoned in a hospital. Not what you're thinking. It's a baby.
I want God to heal me so that I be like normal children and be going to testing and and play like other children.
This is Taiw Daniel Jeremiah. Like other children with long-term medical conditions, he does not feel normal. For such children, support from family and social networks help them cope with their life situations. Taiwo's story is different because he was an abandoned baby. With no family and living with a rare medical condition, the children's medical ward is his home.
I think it was the 4th day of November 2007. I was the on-call doctor in the special care baby unit. This was about 7 o'clock in the evening, and the parents came in. Well, now I suppose the parents came in and they had this little wonderful boy with them. He had some surgical because I know because his tummy was distended. The parents said he was vomiting. Anything he ate, he threw up. So in my head, I knew there was some form of intestinal obstruction. So I asked that I will call the surgeons to come and evaluate, because by then I tried to do the rectal examination and there was no anal opening. I couldn't go past my little fingertip. And then the parental anxiety, they were kind of anxious. Please do what you can for our baby. We know that this is something that can be done here, no other place. We come all the way from wherever they said they were coming from. Looking back now, it's the address on the folder was something like Ondo State. And you came all the way from Ondo State, there was UBTH, and then you came here to Port Harcourt. But like I said, in my head, let me do what I can for this baby. So the parents said they wanted to go home to refresh to an address that they gave. There was a phone number on the folder, so I didn't have any issues. I told them if they had any problems, we will call them to come rectify any need that the baby needed. They left. And then we called in the surgeons who came in and evaluated and realized that the baby needed surgical intervention immediately.
The practice of abandoning newborn babies is not new, yet Nigeria has no clear statistics on babies abandoned yearly. When it comes to babies born with rare medical conditions, public hospitals are a common target for abandonment. The management of hospitals have lamented the rising number of abandoned babies that they have to care for with their limited resources. The primary causes of child abandonment in Africa are poverty, unwanted pregnancies, and lack of resources to support parents of children with disabilities. In 2007, the socio-economic climate of Nigeria was unfavorable to low-income families dealing with rare medical situations. Following political instability from post-election violence, the health sector bore the consequence of failing infrastructure and poor access to health for the vulnerable. Taiwo's parents welcomed a baby that year, a bundle of joy that became their source of sorrow.
There was nobody who could give us informed consent to have the surgery done. So we called in the social workers who would go to the address that was provided and then fish out the parents.
Social workers were called to find the baby's parents to provide consent and make payment for emergency surgery. Sadly, they found that the address provided on the admission documents was fake. Also, the company the baby's father claimed as his workplace had no record of him.
I didn't suspect that there was going to be an abandonment.
The hospital management took over the baby's care, funding the surgeries and providing for his upkeep. After the surgeries, baby Taiwo was transferred to the children's ward.
Taiwo was sent to my unit because, one, the primary thing really is that his parents abandoned him. He came into this hospital as a newborn and passed through the special care baby unit. And our special care baby unit keeps babies up to the age of 28 days. Thereafter, they are no longer qualified to remain in the special care baby unit. So he was transferred to my unit. And the reason he came to my unit is because of his medical condition. Otherwise, he could have been in any other unit.
We run 3 shifts. In each shift, the senior nurse there becomes the mother. That time he came with a colostomy. So we changed the colostomy, bathed him, do every damn thing, feed him.
Talking about his milestone, he didn't sit when he was supposed to sit. He didn't walk when he was supposed to walk. It took so much effort for him to really achieve those milestones. And it wasn't easy because, you know, we run shifts. You see a nurse, maybe because of his schedule, may not have that time to really assist him in his milestone, maybe sitting him down, supporting him. So it's just like he's just there.
Grace Winkana, a mother of 2, worked passionately in the children's medical ward as a nursing officer. When she received her posting, she had no idea working in this ward would change the course of her life forever. One day, a male attendant from the special care baby unit walked into the ward holding a baby in one hand and a folder in another. Grace and her colleagues received the baby. Instantly, she fell in love with the round-faced, chubby infant. From then on, she became known in the hospital as Mommy Taiwo.
They were on strike, so the hospital had to call her and was telling her that it was only baby Taiwo that was left in the hospital. We were on Stadium Road then, and I said, the doctors could not take care of the baby, so they needed her because of her close companion with the baby.
As much as hospital staff cared for the abandoned baby Taiwo, their commitment was tested and their efforts could only go so far. There was an industrial action in 2010 in which nurses had stopped working and left the hospital. Patients had to be discharged from the wards, and baby Taiwo needed to go home.
We didn't really know what it entails to take care of a child with a colostomy. What of if the children are playing and they touch him there, or if they are asleep, they hit him in that side, what will happen and all that. So I try to allay that fear from him and tell him I am here and I've been taking care of him all this while in the world. There is no need to be afraid. That I really just wanted to give this child a space in my heart to be his mother. And the opportunity came for me to bring him home. He should not deny me of this opportunity. So he really saw my love for the child and he accepted the whole thing.
That very first day, when I got home, when the time got to the evening, within me, I was just contemplating, where would this child sleep? Then when I told her, she said the child can sleep in the middle of 2 of us. I was uncomfortable, but as I told you before, everything I was doing was just based on her passion for the child.
Abandoned babies, or foundlings as they are sometimes called, experience identity crises. The quest to discover their true identity often begins with the name given at birth. Whether it is baby boy or a baby girl dole tag identifying an abandoned newborn, creating endearing names accords abandoned babies some dignity.
I remember clearly the mother's name was Amina. And here in our special care baby unit, if the baby has not been named, usually the 7th or 8th day practice of baby naming ceremony, if it has not been named, we call the baby the surname, which was Taiw, and then baby Amina. That's the mother's name. So that if you're calling Amina or baby Amina, it's the mother that would hear, but not the surname. So it's Taiw, baby Amina, that I wrote on that first admission sheet. Date of birth I remember clearly was 2nd of November 2007. There was a penis, so it was a male. So those were the identifying features that I got from the parents.
So we call him Taiw, being a male. We didn't call him Amina. Then as he was growing up, there was this particular child named Daniel that was on admission then. So, you know, I think he should be about 2 years thereabouts. He has started talking. So we are now teaching him to know his name. We'll tell you your name is Taiw. Say my name is Taiw. We'll tell you my name is Taiw. The next minute we'll tell you my name is Daniel. Everyone was like, Daniel is not your name. That one is Daniel. You are Taiw. Because they were almost the same age mates. So it got to a point when you ask him, what is your name? He tell you, my name is Daniel. What is your name? You say, my name is Daniel.
I don't want you to call me Taiwo anymore. I want you to call me Daniel. Because of child in the hospital that we lost, he was very close to that boy. And that boy's name was Daniel. So when that boy died, that was the first time I saw him crying. And I saw him so sober, he cried that his friend has died. So, Mommy, please call me Daniel. So I said, okay. That was how the name Daniel came about.
Now, before the child was about to start schooling, my wife didn't tell me. She did not discuss with me about the name the child would bear. There was no interaction, whereby what I just saw once was that I saw the notebook. I saw my full name written on the book. I was surprised, so I just kept quiet.
Though it was not intentional to just maybe not inform him, because we're not actually ready for it. You know, Taiwo was always in the hospital and he goes to school from the hospital. After coming back from home and going back to the hospital, he was like, Mommy, my brother is answering Jeremiah. Why am I not answering Jeremiah? So at that point, I couldn't tell him, don't answer Jeremiah. I said, okay, tell your teacher, your name is Jeremiah. So that was how the whole thing started, though it was not intentional.
When abandoned babies become adults, they often resort to the media in search of their identity. They try to trace their roots and also to learn who found them. For Taiwo, going to the media was not for seeking out his biological parents. He needed to make an SOS call.
Sometime late 2010, on a casual note, I discussed with a friend who works with a media house, Wazobia to be precise, but we just chat over things. She could call me up and ask health-related questions. And I was like, don't you have people that could help a child in need? He said, Auntie Nurse, that one passed me. That was her response that day. Something happened again, early 2011. I can't remember the month precisely. And we got talking. She said, okay, don't worry. It's like Oga will be coming to our studio for an interview. I said, which Oga? He said, the governor of the state. That was Right Honorable Rotimi Chibike Amechi. But she will, at the end of the interview, she will pose the question to him. And surprisingly, I heard that interview. It was a live interview. At the end, she asked him, if I remember rightly in her words, say, Oga, in teaching hospital Port Harcourt here, we get one small pikin wey no dey putu like other people they take putu.
Amechi laughed and said, "What do you mean by putu?" He saw Oga, the pikin no dey kaka, no dey shit because he no get any news wey go take shit. And they say in paper, don at table, no person dey do anything. He said, that they should bring up the matter, that she should tell them, whoever gave her the information, that they should tell the hospital people to call up that paper, let him see what he will do. And in weeks, true to his word, he raised, I think, 4 million naira, which was big money as at 2011. With that initial fund that was raised, Iroro and Noswikana, together with Taiwo, traveled to India for the initial surgery.
So we did that colostomy. That was the first intervention. And unfortunately, that colostomy failed. Failed meaning that it got blocked. Feces was now not coming out. So he had to have another colostomy. The colostomy is to clean the rectum and that area, anal region, for a definitive surgery. So after the colostomy was done, I think that was the 3rd or 4th month, they now did what the definitive surgery is supposed to be, which is what we call posterior sagittal anorectoplasty. That is through the back door, we connect the anus to the rectum, anorectoplasty, so that feces now can pass through to the anus. So we open up another passage for him. Now, that was done, but unfortunately, it failed. And it was at that point we decided we probably getting to our wits' end. Here, let us find a way to take him out of the country to a base where all of these complications, not just the original condition, is now addressed.
But unfortunately, before the next appointment in India, Governor Amechi had left office, so there was no fund.
The surgeons in UK had better understanding, and they knew what was needed. And they told us that the best budget they could give was £75,000. This was 2015. I don't have that money. No, I mean, I had to start writing letters to many. I contacted people, opened up a fund, but nothing came in. We don't have the funds. Nobody is willing. Many people tried. I mean, state governors were met. I mean, we has not gone because we don't have £75,000. I mean, 2017-18, when I was looking for the funds to make that trip, we had to do evaluation here. And we found out that his left kidney was not excreting. Meaning is not making urine. So he's probably working with one kidney right now as we talk.
Unable to return for a definitive surgery that would address the temporary measure taken in India, Taiwo continued his life in the children's ward until the funds were available. As a child who lives in a hospital, Taiwo's daily routine is strenuous. With the help of the nurses, he has learned to attach his colostomy bag, but this adaptation is quietly eroding his self-esteem.
When they brought him here for admission, they told me his story. It was very difficult for me to admit him. I was in a tight corner because other children looked at him as a foreign body in their midst. They find it difficult to play with him or associate with him.
Because when you see what is inside him, you ask yourself, what if this happened to my child? If you're looking at what is inside there, you have pity on him.
The social stigma of abandoning a child does not affect the parents alone. The deep shame of runaway parents trails their abandoned children into adulthood, leaving them feeling unwanted. Abandoned children live with the reproach that they were not valued enough to be kept like other children.
In the course of Taiwo being in the world here, on different occasions, you see him with different moods. He could be excited, he could be moody, seemingly depressed. When he has bonded with a child who is supposedly his age mate, or they have formed a kind of friendship while the child is on admission, and such child is about going home, it's like, oh, this my friend is going again. I'm going to miss this one.
Once it happens like that, he doesn't feel happy. I remember there's this one boy by name Testimony. Yes, Testimony. He used to be very close to him. Once he comes back from school, both of them will go to this side. But eventually, by the time we managed the child, and he eventually passed on, Taiwo wasn't himself. He ran back to the bed. In fact, you will see him. He will coil on the bed for 2 to 3 hours. Be looking at him. What is the problem?
The one that most times gets to him is when he realizes he has messed up himself. And you know, some children say, what is smelling? You see him just walk like a dog with the tail in between to the sluice room to clean up himself. And once he's done with that and comes back, you'll see him very quiet.
Because of his health condition, he doesn't associate with others. He's always frowning, and he cannot stand very well. He feels inferior anytime he's with other children, especially when we are doing mathematics together. No child will like to sit with him.
The boy also is not a boy that was very happy due to his case. There are times you see him moody. And I could remember a particular day down the building down, we had a conversation where Taiwo was crying. I thought maybe somebody bullied him or whatever. So I went to him, placed my hand behind his back and tried to, just like a reassurance or whatever. And when I asked him, he told me that he's not happy. I feel he wants to pass out feces and urine the same way others are doing it. I was touched.
Taiwo looks forward to having a school birthday party, and that depends on whether hospital staff receive money donations to make that happen. With no real friends in school, the nurses make it a duty to be present on Taiwo's special day. This year, like others, Taiwo gets to make a wish as he blows out his birthday candle.
I don't like staying in the hospital because there's mosquito, and I used to miss my brother and sister. I just to eat. I just to eat, and I'm now fall sick.
T-Bobo has a very big dream. T-Bobo is in love with doctors. He's in love with nurses. And severally he has spoken that he would want to be a doctor. So he will give quality care. Not just care, quality care to his patients.
I want to become doctor in future so I can help sick people and treat them. And some of them that don't have money, then I pay their bills.
Taiwo celebrated his 13th birthday today, and that means I have been with Taiwo for 13 years.
On my 13-year birthday, I want God to heal me so that I will be like normal children. So I will be very well like other, be real like other children.
Taiwo's birthday wish is not for a toy car, a football club jersey, or any other fancy thing that a teenage boy might ask for. He wishes to urinate and defecate normally. Funds are needed to send him abroad to achieve this.
Taiwo now is just entered secondary school. What he needs is a home. What he needs is financial support. What he needs is care.
Help. If people can come out and help him. He wants to live. He wants to live a normal life. Taiwo need life.
He needs a home with brother, sister, father, mother, uncles, everybody around him. Taiwo needs that home. He needs that home for his growth, for his development. He needs that home where there won't be encumbrances of his medical and surgical conditions. He needs that home where the family does not have to be thinking of where to get £5,000 or $50,000 or whatever amount it is now to correct his surgical anomalies. Taiwo needs to be normal.
My wish for Taiwo would be that he gets a proper attention, a proper surgery, that the world should see him and, ask, what if this is my child? What will I have done? I want him to have a proper surgery to improve his life. And I see that child have a destiny. He has a golden star.
If Taiwo needs immediate intervention, immediate surgical intervention, corrective, a definitive treatment, he needs it like now, in fact, like yesterday.
Taiwo wants to be normal. He needs to be normal, without which he will go home never.